Hello everyone, and welcome to some more horrific news. Okay, looks like we've had an interview with regards to the latest Danny Boyle and Alex Garland film coming up, so I thought we'd take a look at it. 28 years later takes a wholly different approach to the infected saga, says Danny Boyle. There had never been a zombie film like 28 Days Later, not least because the zombies technically weren't zombies. Back in 2002, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland ripped up the Undead rulebook, with hordes of flesh-eating former humans that weren't actually reanimated corpses, but infected with a viral rage, who didn't shuffle and shamble like Romero's zombies, but legged it full pelt, and who brought a societal collapse, not in the United States, but across the UK. Now Boyle and Garland are back with 28 years later, evolving the apocalypse decades beyond the events of Juan Carlos Fresnadillo's 2007 sequel 28 weeks later, and kicking off an expansive new saga to boot. Non-zombies are once again all the rage. Yeah, you have to give the film props, it was something different. However, what happened was, as usual, the Hollywood copy and paste machine then started churning out everything was an infection, and you've probably heard me talk about this before, but God, you can't tell the difference between a vampire, a zombie, a werewolf, because everything's an infection, it's a virus, etc., etc. As you know, we're going through the Resident Evil saga as well. That was another groundbreaking one, although based in the game. But these guys were pioneers that just, let's try something different. Problem is, when you try something different and it works, then the beige crowd, the uncreative sort of sludge, get on top of it and they ruin it. And that's the problem now, is they have actually destroyed the mystique, the supernatural aspect, and all that good stuff that we enjoyed. And that's not a reason why people are sort of jumping out of movies. But anyway, we'll crack on. After years of noodling around on possible ideas for where 28 could go next, Garland eventually came to Boyle with a version he wanted to make. It was a wholly different approach, Boyle tells Empire. It was about what the 28 years gives you, notably a very different state of affairs. 28 days later depicted the early days of the outbreak. Even 28 weeks later only moved the story forward around 6 months. But in 28 years later, Britain's straggling survivors have learned to live in a full-on post-apocalyptic world. Here, Aaron Taylor Johnson's Jamie, Jodie Comer's Isla, and their 12-year-old son Spike are part of a community on Holy Island, also known as Lindisfarne, connected to the UK mainland by a causeway, only briefly accessible when the tide recedes each day. It's a closed and necessarily very tight community, says Boyle. There are very strict defence laws. Obviously, to survive that long in what is effectively an ongoing hostile environment, they've created a successful community as they say it. It soon comes time for young Spike to take a rite of passage trip beyond the safety of Lindisfarne, to open his eyes to the true state of the nation. Needless to say, things don't go to plan. That's just the beginning. What becomes of Jamie, Isla, Spike, and the rest of the UK is set to be depicted across an entire trilogy, beginning with Boyle 28 years later, continuing in Nia DaCosta's 28 years later, The Bone Temple, and culminating in a third Boyle-helmed entry, which won't go into production until audiences respond to the first film. For screenwriter Garland, the trilogy is no cash grab, but purely story-driven. This is very narratively ambitious. Danny and I understood that, he explains. We tried to condense it, but its natural form felt like a trilogy. Get ready then for an infected epic. You just don't get to do a story on this scale in this country, says producer Andrew MacDonald. To do something in Britain that feels like it has size is great. Rage on. And that is it. Alright, like I said, yes, you can't take it away from these guys. They've made a compelling story. It just got grabbed. However, when I saw the trailer for this, I was intrigued. They really brought back, exciting trailers again to make you interested. And yeah, these are good storytellers. Yeah, I wasn't too fussed on men, Alex Garland, but that's a good thing as well. They haven't just stuck to the one thing and wrote it to death. Both Danny Boyle and Alex Garland have went and done many different projects. They're accomplished in their own right. And this is obviously a passion project, and not just something that feels like it needs to happen because some boardroom does so. I have faith in them, if that makes sense, that they're going to do their best to tell a compelling story. And that's what it boils down to. Tell a good story, invest in the characters and what happens. And like the infected or the zombies they're basically a storytelling device. They always have been. Same as Romero's work. It wasn't so much about the zombies themselves, it's how the people react and get on. And yeah, I'll not lie, being biased, it's nice to have a story in the UK. It's not like we can't do it. It's just our London twats that think they rule everything. They just look at what America does and have no confidence. That's why they're so vapid and pointless. There's plenty of stories going on all over the world. We don't need Hollywood. Yeah, I'm sure studios and stuff involved, don't get me on that, but still, we can tell good stories, so can other countries. And I think this is what we need to go back to. Not this silly superhero stuff, but actually back to gritty storytelling with characters at the front. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I'll not lie. I'm looking forward to see how this turns out. But there you go. Let me know what you think. And until next time, keep up to date with the channel, do the tidy things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.